Black Friday and Cyber Monday are finally behind us, but the fallout from all of those new home gym releases is finally starting to land. The No Fake channel, checking in. Jonathan here with another home gym equipment review where I bring the entire home gym introverted community together to go over the latest gossip and releases of the week. And we have Bells of Steel making a case for having the best drops of 2024. We also have Fringe Sport trying to get a few more new products released this year, and Rep Fitness's protein bars. And last but not least, we're going to discuss how you feel about interest-free loans. Even though the end of the year is near, we see a ton of companies dropping brand new releases. Bells of Steel dropping their much anticipated Kraken. Bells of Steel doing what they always do, and that is have tons of options. Not only can you get a single stack, you can get a double stack selectorized, you can get single or double plate loaded to save some money, and it aligns with different height options that they have. One thing that they are doing to set themselves apart from a lot of the other competition like the Athena and similar rack-mounted functional trainers is that they've got this dual handle that I think has some positives and I think it has some negatives. Now for me, I think where this really comes into play is if you go with a single stack. So if you only have a single stack, this allows you to have not only a one-to-one relationship by connecting both of these handles, you can also get a two-to-one relationship by just using one of the handles. And I think ideally, if you only go with a single stack, trying to save some money but still get versatility out of your power rack, you can do almost every functional trainer exercise on this thing with the dual handles. The only one you can't really do is cable flies. Now, Bells of Steel is doing what so many other companies are doing, dropping new products that they don't even have in the warehouse. They do pre-orders for them. And I want your comments below on your thoughts on the pre-orders. Personally, I am a fan in some situations. Now, in this case, this Kraken is gonna ship April 15th. That is 4.5 months from now. That's almost half a year if we're being honest. Now, personally, when it comes to the pre-orders, I kind of give a little more leeway to the smaller companies that are super niche and they don't have the funds in order to create a massive shipment. Now, when it comes to the bigger companies like Bells of Steel, like Rep Fitness, and other companies too, we're gonna talk about another company later in today's video, I don't necessarily know if I like this as much. I understand that it is a great way to build hype, to get this information out there, to get people talking about it, to get the home gym community excited. But man, oh man, that's a pretty far ship date. I think if this said January 15th, we'd be a lot more accepting of putting a pre-order in, getting it in a month and a half. Obviously, a lot of people have been waiting for the Kraken. As far as my opinion, without having reviewed it, I personally think that having a dual stack system with both of the handles is gonna be something that's gonna be a bit more of a nuisance because those two handles are kind of just gonna be in the way just a little bit. And that's my personal preference. I'd have to kind of get it in-house and actually use it to see if it was as big of a nuisance or an annoyance as I thought. But ultimately, when it comes to the dual stack system, I like a single cable. When it comes to a single stack system, I would probably lean towards the double cable as the Kraken is here. Now, Bells of Steel didn't stop there. They're also releasing a Smith machine, also dropping April 15th. And this is a nice drop in. This gives a lot of versatility to people who bought their power racks and want to upgrade with a few additional bells and whistles. And there's a number of different options with bring your own bar, barbell included. There's a whole bunch of different ways in order to set this up. You can set it up at an angle, you can set it up straight up and down. And I think people who are craving a Smith machine in their home gym, more for the bodybuilding aspect of it or the isolation aspect of it, will find that going with a higher quality Smith machine means that they're probably gonna use it a whole heck of a lot more. Another thing Bells of Steel has released that is a little bit ancient is a chest expander. I thought this was from like the 1970s and 80s. Does this thing actually work? When a company sees success, they often try to expand their branding and open up different adjacent markets. And we see that so often across a number of industries, and usually the diehard fans of that company certainly don't appreciate it. They often feel like that company is losing sight of what kind of brought them to the table. Rep Fitness dropping the Purist protein bar. And I don't know if I'd call this a protein bar, more so a whole food bar because of the macros as well as the ingredients. Clearly, Rep Fitness is going for organic whole food ingredients. Organic oats, organic honey, organic peanut butter, chicory root fiber. Protein blend comes in at almond protein powder, pea protein crisps, rice starch, cocoa butter, quinoa crisps, cinnamon, chia seeds, natural flavors, and sea salt. All in all, that's actually not a bad breakdown. I don't like pea protein. I find, like, personally, I just don't think it has a good amino acid profile. Now, this one comes in at 210 calories. This is the chocolate. And I actually like the ingredients profile on this a little bit better. Organic almonds, grass-fed whey protein concentrates, organic dates, chicory root fiber, unsweetened chocolate chips, brown rice syrup, cocoa powder, organic honey, natural flavors, sea salt, and chia seeds. So you can see right away that these are better than the typical Metrex 100 bars you're gonna get. They're gonna be loaded with sugar, fat, and a whole bunch of craziness. But how do they taste? There's the chocolate. You can see overall it is pretty soft. Let's see how it tastes though. That's a good chocolate. The flavor is there. There's no awkward aftertaste, and it's not chalky. Thumbs up. Honey peanut butter. Get a really nice crunch. Again, it's not chalky. There's no weird aftertaste. Delicious. Something you're going to easily put down and not necessarily have to go get water to swallow as soon as you take every bite. I can certainly see these making a great snack on the go, or if you're really in a pinch, busting out two of them and kind of replacing a meal in its place. I will say, as I've talked about before, when it comes to nutrition, you want to get as much of your food from whole food sources, and something like these you probably don't want to be consuming daily, but for me, I pick these up so that I can throw a few in my backpack, a couple in the car, so that when I'm on the go, I don't have to drive into a McDonald's. I can kind of get something in my system to hold me over.
It looks like Christmas came early. Rep Fitness dropping their Rep Pepin carts. That's right. This is something that they had teased on, and honestly, I thought they were going to come out in first quarter 2024, at the very end of the first quarter, but it looks as though you can pre-order them now. Like every other home gym equipment release, yes, it is a pre-order. The only positive of it is that it doesn't have an April ship date. It does have a January ship date, so for most people, that's only really a few weeks away. Unfortunately, up to this point, most people who got Rep Pepins have been trying to make do by either making their own, buying custom-made versions from Black Widow, or utilizing some makeshift concoction of alternative dumbbell stands in order to just not have to have these things on the floor. So a lot of people, at least myself included, really wanted the stands over the carts, although the carts do look to have a couple of fun features with regards to storage, some pegboard, as well as caster wheels, and it will be interesting to see if the carts are a bit more functional than they initially appear.
Now, when it came to Black Friday and Cyber Monday, so many companies just raised their prices and then claimed a massive discount. I found that there were not nearly as many great deals this year as there were last year, and I don't know if that's because I just have more equipment so I don't need as much, or if that companies are really pushing people to make those massive purchases. We saw a lot of whole cart discounts. If you went over $1,000, $2,000, even $5,000, you got more of a discount. I didn't see necessarily any fantastic deals on individual pieces of equipment similar to last year. The one thing that I did jump on was the Mammoth belt squat. I've been wanting to review this for a while, and it's initially basically $250, but you got to pay an extra $100 for the kickstand. So what they did is they jacked it up to $349, dropped it to $249, so you're getting a massive savings, but they're throwing in a free kickstand. I took advantage of this, and I think that was probably one of the better deals that I saw, because the kickstand is really a must when it comes to this thing, and the kickstand itself costs typically $100. Speaking of pre-orders, Fringe Sport has been hyping up their brand new Falcon adjustable bench as the end-all, be-all of clear coat adjustable benches. And man, oh man, the hype was real. I was drooling waiting for this thing to be released, only to find out that it is also on pre-order. No! I will say that I am not very excited with the way this was done. Again, a lot of companies are doing this, not a shame on Fringe. They do this to raise hype. Pre-order ships in March. So people were all angst and pumped up about this thing, trying to get this in, trying to see how awesome it was. $449, a great price allegedly. And they got to wait 4 months now, because the way I'm shooting this video, it's basically the beginning of December. So 4 months until they potentially get it in. And now obviously that you're saving a massive deal of from $500 to $450, but you can also get it in black. Where are the photos of it in black? They're selling you something that they don't even have a photo of. How crazy is that? They're literally selling you a black bench that you don't even have a photo of what it's going to look like, except that it's going to be black. Now, the clear coat for this price point looks pretty good. Again, you're getting a clear coat base, and then these side rails look like they're like a galvanized steel or something along those lines. The side rails are not clear coat. The one question I have is the actual pad itself, on how grippy it is. And obviously, this is kind of in line with to fight the AB 5200 from Rep Fitness. This does come in shorter than the AB 5200, but a lot of people find the AB 5200 to be way more length than they absolutely need. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't going to be a fantastic bench. I don't know, but I certainly wouldn't shell out money now for a product that doesn't ship until March, at least on this one. Fringe Sport also listened to the people. A lot of people who got the Mammoth belt squat said, I'm just too strong. I need more room on the loading pin in order to get those massive gains. And they created a dual mounted weight horn for this. Now, like the kickstand, it is an additional charge. The hype was real, man. When they were advertising this thing, I was pumped because I thought it was exactly what people were going to be craving in terms of just having a lot more room to load up their plates, especially if they're using bumpers versus metal plates. Unfortunately, I assumed incorrectly that the day that they were announced it was going to be released was the day that you could buy it and have it shipped. This thing as well is pre-order shipping in 4 months. A quarter of a year this thing ships. And I don't know why companies are doing this, especially bigger companies. I mean, Bell's, Fringe, Rep, even Rogue, they all do it. So I'm not trying to pick out Fringe or Bells of Steel, but it just sounds weird that you're a massive company and you're taking pre-orders, not just pre-orders on something that's going to ship in a month or 6 weeks or even 2 months. You're taking pre-orders on something that's going to ship a quarter of a year from now, 4 months, and that's if it ships on time. I want to know from you, comment down below, am I completely wrong on this pre-order thing? Today's video is brought to you by the letter V for vest. And here we have the Zelus weighted vest. This is loaded up with sand. It comes in all different weights, everything from like 12 pounds up to 40 pounds. This is their 30-pound version. And what I like about these sand ones is that they are quick on, quick off, and the price points are low. For this 30-pound version, I think it is $80 without any discounts, and of course the price ranges vary depending on the weight that you get. And the 30-pound version comes with 2 straps for your chest to get a nice secure fit. Now, what can you do with the weighted vest? You can jog with it, you can do pull-ups, push-ups, air squats, you can shadow box with it, hey, you can jump rope with it. Now, what are the downsides, the detractors when it comes to the sand vest? The fact is, you can't get them as snug as you can with plate-loaded weighted vests, meaning if you're gonna be jogging with this thing for a while, you're gonna get a lot of bounce. This is really meant for something that you put on, use for a quick set and take off, or you put on, do a sprint, and then you're done. I will say that if you are going to be using weighted vests consistently, day in and day out in your training, you might want to spend more money. But if it's something you're only going to be using once a month or maybe even once a year for Murph, hey, consider the Zelus weighted vests.
If you found this video entertaining, then definitely hit that subscribe button. But most importantly, watch one of these 2 videos next. As usual, thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back.